All right, so the goal for today's video is to go over how to take our ultrasonic testing, which prints to the serial monitor, and encapsulate it into a method in our motor testing so we can use our sonar all the time and get it to help just get a robot to make decisions about what to do. So first thing we want to do is I'm going to copy and paste my trigger and echo pins over from here, and I'm going to put them into my motor test file. So that would go up top, throw that in there, so then I can refer to it later. And then in the motor test, I'm going to create a method. Remember, it's just like Java, except no public static or anything like that. So we want an int return method. It'll return an integer number of centimeters. So instead of void, we've got an int type. I'll call it sonar, so I feel like it, and it doesn't need any parameters. So then I'll go back to my ultrasonic test, and really we need most of this stuff. All of our setup stuff, except we probably don't need the serial monitor. We could add it if you wanted, but I'd copy the pin mode stuff you did up here. Notice I don't actually have it. You, in theory, will have it because you've done this method already. So if we go back to motor test, all our setup stuff we'd put into the setup. So we'd go into setup here, and we'd set up our trigger pin to an output and our echo pin to input using pin mode, just like these guys. And then we go back to our ultrasound test, and all this stuff in loop we're going to kick into the method. So we're going to have to write the trigger pin low, we're going to have to delay, we're going to have to write the trigger pin high, we're going to have to wait some microseconds. So all of this stuff, which hopefully you did all, that we'll have to put in. We'll have to have our calculation. We'll keep the distance thing, though I'm going to change that a bit. So we will go back to motor test. And then, so our little sonar method here, I'll go and paste all that in. Notice we don't have duration or distance. We actually probably should have copied and pasted that over to the top. We can also put it right here. So we could say long duration. And we could say int distance. So you put those in there, or you could put them up at the top. Doesn't matter. So back in sonar, we want to do all this stuff. Now we're going to calculate the distance to the thing in front of it. And instead of printing it to the serial monitor, we want to return it so our robot can use it to make decisions. So all we got to do is, instead of print lining distance, we will return distance. And that's how we convert it to a method. Now, if you want to make your robot avoid walls, it's pretty complicated. You might want to change some of your methods. So instead of going forward for time, it just, so basically you can get rid of like your forward seconds business and just get it so it, the method just includes that and doesn't do it for a certain amount of time, unless it could still be useful, depending on if you want to do certain movements at certain times. But anyway, here's one way we can do it. We can get it to go forward for, I don't know, I'll make it go forward for 0.8 seconds. Actually, I'll do it 1 second. So I'll get it to check once every second. And if it sees something close, so remember, sonar will return the distance to the thing in front of it. And if that is less than the reasonable distance. Let's say if it's closer than 20 centimeters, that's probably too close. I'm just going to make it turn. So while it's less than 30 centimeters or something, I'll get it to turn left. And I'll have it go at 0.5 seconds a shot. I don't know. This is all guesswork. You might have to tweak the numbers. And then else, it'll go forward. So there you are, something that'll avoid walls. It'll turn left until it's got at least 30 centimeters ahead of it of free space. You might want to make that more, make it, well, whatever. So it'll keep turning until it finds a way it can get some distance. Otherwise it goes forward. Again, if I was going to do this, the whole time thing, well, it's performing the left method or the forward method. It can't be checking the sonar, which isn't ideal. So if I was going to mess with it, I'd probably either modify these forward, left, right methods so they didn't have the delay, or I'd make new ones that didn't have it and use those in here, because then it could constantly be checking the sonar while moving, and that'd be better. It'd make it more accurate. Anyway, that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed.